Hello, this is Duncan Fowler, and this is part of the Lean and Agile engineering module, and we're going to do a very brief look at PDCA, which is Plan, Do, Check, and Act. If you've watched some of the other videos, you'll be realizing how some of these ideas overlap or are just are very similar to, and are just a slightly different version. And this is one of them. So let's look at it. So a little brief history. Walter Shewhart, in his book in 1939, looked at the statistical methods from the viewpoint of quality control. So he was looking at the data and how to improve production. A little bit of a dry read, if I'm honest. Fortunately, Deming came along and changed it a little bit and come up with the PDCA, which stands for Plan, Do, Study, and Act. So Plan, Do, Check, and Act was created by Demings in the 1950s as an easy-to-follow problem-solving cycle. Demings was tasked with helping Japan rebuild its economy in the 1950s. His purpose was to use PDCA with a continuous improvement. So continuous improvement is something we've been saying a lot about throughout these lecture programs, and it was to help rebuild Japanese industry so that they could compete in the world market in the future. So if we start with the first start of the wheel, which is Plan. So the purpose is to investigate the current situation. Sort of like, when we were talking about going to Gemba, go to the workplace, go and have a look, go and investigate, understand fully the nature of the problem being solved. Sometimes that's not obvious. Sometimes you think you're solving a problem, but what it does is it pushes the problem further down the line, or you've misunderstood it. This is why things like the 5 whys, will come into effect. The 5 whys is when you get a problem, trying to ask why 5 times. So an example would be the machine broke down last night, and we had to call maintenance. Why? Because the pipe work was leaking. Why? Because the swath in the machine got caught around the pipe work and ripped it. Why did the swath get caught there? Because the cleaners hadn't moved the swath away from the machine that night. Why? Because the management had changed the cleaning rota from once every day to once every 5 days. So the problem being that if you look deeper, is the fact that the cleaning process was the problem. Yeah, not that the pipe work. If you just looked at it in the surface, you might just go and fix the piping of the machinery, and then it's going to happen again. So you've got to ask 5 whys, and you'll get to the root of the problem. So the purpose, to enlighten the team as to the real problem by analysing the data and defining and implementing a solution. So you go to Gemba, you go and find out what the problem is. You define responsibilities, why, what, and how. Recognise the contributions of other people around, help them, bring them into the problem, so that everybody is taking ownership of the problem. Then we go to check. The purpose is to monitor effect of the implementation. You've planned it. You've gone and found out what the problem is. You've started to implement something. You've got maybe a pilot training scheme, or just seeing how things go, and you're checking to see if your countermeasures have solved the problem. The purpose of the Act is to review continuously the performance measures and make adjustments as required, integrating new situations into normal working practices. Then you start the PDCA cycle again. It's a continuous improvement. And one thing slightly missing here is if good practice, if you find a solution to a problem and you know that another department could benefit that, spreading that information, new knowledge is important as well. So one, plan. Step 1, identify the problem. Step 2, analyze the problem. Step 3, develop solutions. Step 4, implement a solution. Then you evaluate the results. Did you achieve your desired goals? And then finally, standardize the solution. So get it around the factory and make it part of everyday life. Implementing new things can be quite hard. But you've got to make sure that people don't revert back to the old ways of doing things. Okay, have a think about that, and some of the things to start thinking about now is things like FlexSim, is a discrete event simulation software. It's used to where I've taught it is to redesign factories, look at bottlenecks, give good examples of push and pull manufacturing. So it's you can get a free copy of that from their website. Also take a look at what things like are digital twinning and what the factory floor is. Okay, right. Thank you very much.